Hi, welcome to Unwind Design. My name is Kim. I'm your teacher for today. So let's get started. First things first, what we have in front of us, we have a large 11 by 14 size canvas paper. We are going to get started first by using our large background brush. That's your colorful brush. Some of you may have it in pink and yellow. If you are watching this from the school that I teach from Hebrew School or any other school, we have our large pink brush, yellow brush, whatever colors you have. I'm using this one because I misplaced my big brush, okay? Then we have our square brush. Okay, this is a size 5/8 square brush. Okay, nice and small. Then we have our round tip brush that comes to a point. That's number 5. And then we have our liner, really skinny detail brush that helps all our lines. Okay. From there, make sure you have your towel, your water. Okay. And make sure you have your colors. The colors we're going to be using today are going to be yellow, red, and white, black, and brown. Of course, our colors are sticky, so we're going to add a little bit of water to make them nice and soft. And we are going to be starting off first with our large background brush. So if you want to use your large background brush, or you know what, let's not use our large background brush. Let's use our round tip brush. Okay, so we're going to be picking up our number 5 round tip. We're going to be picking up a little bit of water. And we're going to start off first with just a little bit of yellow. Okay, so add a little bit of water to your yellow. And we're going to start to draw our bird. Again, this is a size 5 round tip brush that we're going to be starting with. So we are going to get started making the body of our turkey. Just take into consideration, we are going to be making sort of like a bowling pin. If have you guys ever been bowling, you see that it's a little bit bigger in the bottom, then it goes skinny, and then it's a little bit smaller on top. So we're going to start off first by making our body right in the middle, and it's going to be almost like making an egg. See that? We're making an egg shape. You can go ahead and make a little neck. And then on top, we're just going to make a little head. Okay. You see the shape? It's almost like a bowling pin. All you need is the ball to come in and hit it, and it would fall over. Once we're done with this, we're going to come in with our big brush, and we're going to paint the whole thing in with our brown. So we're using our big brush, whether it's pink, yellow, blue. We're using our larger brush. We're picking up a little bit of water, and we're going to add it to the corner of our brown. My brown is really old, and usually when paint is old, it gets really sticky and it's hard to use it. So I'm actually going to use a lot of water to make it nice and soft. It gets really sticky and chunky, and then you get a lot of little balls or chunks of brown just kind of around. So you want to use this water to get rid of all that. And then from here, we're going to begin to fill in all of our turkey. Moving on to our round tip brush, we're going to pick up just a little bit of water, and we're going to pick up our red. So to this red, we are going to add a little drop of black just to make it a little bit darker, or you can go ahead and add a little bit of brown, and that'll make your red just a little darker, okay? So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and make a line on the side of our turkey. Okay, so let's go ahead and make that line so that we get a nice and straight line across the side of our chunky turkey's body. cool. See how I only had to do one line because I had enough water in there. So I'm gonna come back, pick up a little bit more. And we are actually gonna start from the back of our turkey's head, and we're gonna start to do some little arches. There's one, make sure you fill those in. 2, 3, 4. Turn around your brush. If you use all one side of the paint, turn your brush around so you can use the other side. 5, 6, all the way down to the bottom. And we're gonna do the same for the other side. From here, we are going to get a little bit of that bright red and black, and we're also going to paint in the neck. So we're coming in a little bit with that red. We're going to bring it down. You see that? So I'm closing it in, but I'm going to add this really cool design to the bottom. So we're basically going to go and make little arches like when we make flowers, right? So we're going to come in from the bottom, go up. Again, skip a little bit of space. Let me zoom in so you can see that better. So with the neck, I'm coming in at the bottom and then I'm pulling up. I'm going to skip again. Then I'm going to go back in. Boom. And see how it looks curvy? It looks really pretty right there. And then I'm going to just do that all the way. If you want to grab just a little bit of white into that, you can totally add a little bit of white too. Completely up to you. And that way you can get a little bit of that color going up. You see that? And we're filling in that neck with that red color too. When you're done with this, we can go ahead and blow dry it. So from here, we're using the same round tip brush. We're actually going to begin by picking up a little bit of this yellow. And what we're going to do is we're going to begin to draw our feathers. And we are going to start out first right in the middle, right above the head of our turkey. We're going to come in and draw our feathers. Let me go straight up. There we go. So from here, we're going to come in and we're going to do our feather. We're going to do sort of like an almond shape. So I'm coming in right from the top, from the other side, and there's the first feather. Okay. From here, we're getting some more yellow, and we're going to start to do another feather going off to the side. Almost like we're doing almonds and flowers, okay? Or flower petals. You know how when you do a flower petal, you kind of make your shape sort of like an almond? There we go. Then from here, we're going to do it again that way. And we're going to come in from the side and imagine that it's going past, okay? You're not going to see it, but imagine that it's actually going past that section there. There's one, here's another. And we're just going to keep doing that all the way down. You see that? Perfect. Let me zoom out so you guys can see it a little better. And then one more time. And we are starting to do our flowers in the back. We're coming in with some of this yellow. And we're just going to continue doing that all the way down. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're just going to come in, doing a feather. Here's the other one. And we're just going to start coming all the way down. So what we're going to do with this yellow after we do these lines is we're going to come in and paint in all this white space. Here's one. Here's another section, another one. We're painting all of that in right at the corners. Okay, we want that to be nice and thick. And then at the top, we're going to do the same thing. We're coming in with our round tip, or you could use your square brush too. And we're just gonna start to fill this in the background. You see that? We're gonna fill in all the spaces that are white in the back with that yellow. Guys, usually when you paint, you can do it several ways, okay? The first way is you can paint the background first, okay? If it's a light color, for example, what I could have done is I could have painted all of this yellow first, and then we could have done the turkey and the feathers, okay? So that's one way. The other way you do it is by starting with all the lighter colors, okay? So we could have started with the yellow again, then we could have done the red, and then we could have done the brown. And then another way to do it is by doing it with what the way that we did it is with the main thing popping out first. So I did the turkey first because that's the main thing. And then I started working towards the back. And then I worked with the lightest colors to the darkest colors. So I did two things. I worked from the front from the main character to the back, and I worked from the lightest color to the front. So you kind of go back and forth, you know, whatever is easier. The other thing we can do too, once we have that yellow, since we're working with our yellow, we can do several things. You're gonna come in with that yellow and a little bit of white, and you can come in and make that beak. So the beak is just a triangle upside down. You see that? So you can come in and paint the beak. And you can paint some feathers. So on the side of the body, I'm going to do 2 yellow lines. And then I'm going to come in and just do some more lines so that it looks like they're feathers. Okay, so this line I start at the bottom. Then I go more lines going to the top at an angle. Okay, so again, I start at the bottom and then I put my lines going up at an angle. You can also add several other colors here if you want to add some red. You can go ahead and do that too. And that also gives you a little bit more personality in the wings. Next to the beak, you can also come in and do the little thing that goes on the side of the beak with the red. It's called a jowl. So you can actually go in there and add that on there as well to make that pop out too. So moving on, we are going to be using now our round tip brush again. We're going to be using it once more, and we're going to start to actually use it and wash it off real quick to use our brown. So I'm adding some water, making it nice and soft. I'm going to come in with a little bit of water again. Remember, this paint is kind of older, so it's going to be a little bit harder to paint. Okay, so I'm going to be using some water, making it nice and soft. And what we're going to do is we are going to first do the little arches just to make sure our line is straight. See? Once we do that, then you can come in and paint in all of those feathers. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing next. Painting in all of these feathers. If you want to add a little bit of black to that brown, if you're like, wait a minute, I want my brown a little darker, you can add a little bit of black, and then you can actually go ahead and add that too. Okay, you can make them a little bit darker if you want. See how that's more of a dark brown? That's also an option of what you can do. So we're going to go around and we're going to outline all of these, and then we'll be moving on. So if you want to make it a little bit lighter, you can add yellow on there, and you can totally even scratch some of that yellow in there. Look at how pretty that looks, right? So this is what it looks like with a little bit of yellow in there, guys. It's looking really nice. Let me zoom in so you can see it a little bit better. See, that's what it looks like with a little bit of yellow. Super cute, super nice. So you can use dark brown, which is brown with black. You can use light brown, which is brown and yellow, or you can use your normal brown. Oh, and you can also add some white to your brown. Look at that. And you get a very, very light brown there. So there's all these different browns you can make just using the colors that we have here. You can even add a little bit of red to your brown and it'll make it look more like a raspberry. So play with your colors, use your imagination. Anything goes, guys. Okay, so we're just going to continue this, guys. And you can play with all those colors to make the feathers a bunch of different types of brown. You know, show me how many browns you can make. How many different browns can you use? This is light brown. Now I'm going to add some dark brown. And now I'm going to add some brown, maybe with some red. See, they all look different, every single one of them. We are going to begin to use our black. We're going to be using our tiny little brush, picking up a little bit of water, and we're going to be adding it to our black. What we're going to do first is we only have two more colors to use. It's going to be black and it's going to be our white. So starting off first with our black, we're going to come in and we're going to do two little ovals for the eyes. You decide how big or how small you want to make the eyes. If you want to make them really big, you can totally make them big. If you want to make them tiny, like two little dots, you can do that also. Remember, this is your turkey. Use your imagination. Next, with this black brush, we're going to add black outlines to the whole thing. So I'm going to go in the middle and I'm just going to add some lines. And I'm going to scratch those lines around. There's one. Same thing here. Nice and loose. Our lines don't have to be super straight. Okay, so don't feel bad about that. You can do them a little bit scratchy. Same thing here. Cool. The next thing we're going to outline is going to be the edges around for the red. See how this starts to make your painting stand out? You do these lines at the end and they just kind of help. If you didn't do straight lines, this helps you make it look like you have straight lines. Also, this is another way that artists cheat when they do their art. If they don't like the way it looks with the lines, again, right here, this is a great way to add these lines to still add character, but at the same time, like, keep it a little bit more straight, more illustrative. Illustrative is the kind of art that you see that doesn't look 3D. It looks more like the kind of art that you see in like storybooks and stuff like that, you know? So then we're gonna come in, we're gonna outline the head. We're gonna outline the neck. And we're gonna outline the body. Same thing with the sides of the wings. We're gonna come in with this black and we're just gonna make these wings. And there you go. We just used the black. The next color that you use after your black is gonna be your white. Okay, and your white is gonna be the same thing, super simple. You're gonna add some water to your white and we're just gonna add some highlights. So just like we added some shadows, we're also gonna add a highlight. You always add highlights and shadows, and that's what makes it look like it's 3D. So for the highlight, we're gonna do two eyes, two little dots, a little line on the side there. maybe even a line on the beak, a little bit of that on the neck, wings, just some lines just to make it stand out a little bit more, and on the back as well. So I'm adding a couple here. See, I'm not working on it. I'm not like, oh my God, they have to be perfect. No, I'm not. I'm just like, bam, I love how this feels. I'm so relaxed. I'm so chill. All I need to do is just eat my ice cream while I'm hanging out here. Instead, I have my delicious coffee, right? Like an old lady that I am. So we're picking up some of this white. We're going to finish adding these highlights super quick. This is going to be such a good gift. If you're going to give this to somebody, that would be perfect. And we have our turkey right there. You can always add stuff. Like if you want to add gobble gobble, if you want to add some other things, you can go ahead and do that too. But after this, all you need is your really cool signature. And you're done. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure to check out our videos on our website at www.unwindanddesign.org.